The rope burns on her wrists told Samuel everything he needed to know about mercy in this godforsaken territory. She hung against the barbed fence like a scarecrow, arms stretched wide, her swollen belly straining against a torn calico dress. Unconscious, her breathing was shallow, barely there. The morning sun painted her face ghost pale, but her dark hair whipped in the wind like a battle flag refusing to surrender. Jesse, Samuel's 10-year-old son, stood nearby, his voice cracking. He'd seen death before, his mother's slow fade 2 winters ago, but this was different. This was cruelty with intent. Samuel dismounted, boots crunching on frost-brittle grass. The girl couldn't be more than 16, maybe 17, her pregnancy obvious, the child inside perhaps 7 months along. Someone had tied her here to die slowly, a death reserved for those who crossed lines decent folk pretended didn't exist. "Turn around, son," Samuel said. Jesse obeyed, but Samuel caught him stealing glances as he cut the ropes. The girl collapsed into his arms like a broken doll, alive but barely. Her lips moved, forming soundless words, Spanish, Apache, maybe both. The land stretched endless around them, their small ranch house a distant speck. No other souls for 20 miles. Whoever did this chose the spot carefully, remote enough that screams wouldn't carry, close enough to the trail that a body would eventually be found. Samuel had been checking the fence line for winter damage, a routine morning now shattered. His horse, Dancer, snorted, pawing the ground, sensing the wrongness clinging to the place. Her eyelids fluttered, dark eyes locking with his, filled with terror and a desperate hope that cut through him. "Is she gonna die, Pa?" Jesse asked. Samuel looked at his son, then at the girl. 3 years since Mary's death had left them alone in this harsh land. 3 years of quiet suppers and long silences, of Jesse growing up too fast in a world without mercy. The smart move was to ride to town, let Sheriff Morrison handle it. But as her eyes closed and her head fell against his chest, Samuel knew he'd already chosen. He carried her inside like spun glass, Jesse trailing with questions tumbling out. She stirred as he laid her on Mary's old bed, a room untouched for 2 years. "Agua," she whispered, "por favor." Jesse fetched water while Samuel examined her wrists. The rope burns were deep, infected. Her dress was torn in ways that told stories he didn't want to imagine. Yet her belly moved, the child inside fighting for life. "She's having a baby, ain't she, Pa?" Jesse asked. "Like Mama did?" Samuel nodded, the memory hitting like a fist, Mary, pale and bleeding, the stillborn daughter, the fever that took her 3 days later. The promise he'd made to God, broken by bitterness. Her eyes opened, focusing on Jesse with wonder. She touched his cheek, fingers soft as prayer. "Niño," she breathed, "safe." Jesse nodded solemnly. "You're safe now. Pa won't let nobody hurt you." Samuel felt the weight of that promise settle on him. Her name was Elena Vasquez. Over 3 days, her story emerged in fragments. Her Mexican rancher father was killed in a land dispute, her Apache mother died in childbirth years before. Elena had been taken by her father's killers, white men who saw her as property. When her pregnancy showed, they left her to the desert. They said no one would miss a half-breed's bastard, she whispered. Jesse's face flushed. At 10, he didn't grasp every word, but he understood cruelty. "That's not true," he said fiercely. "We'd miss you." Samuel watched his son, quiet since Mary's death, come alive in Elena's presence, bringing her wildflowers, reading from schoolbooks, touching her belly when the baby kicked. But the world intruded. On the 4th morning, dust clouds appeared. 3 riders approaching fast. Samuel recognized Sheriff Morrison's bay gelding, alongside Deputy Carter and a stranger in eastern clothes, soft hands, and entitled anger. "Stay inside," Samuel told Elena and Jesse. He stepped onto the porch, rifle loose in his hands. Morrison tipped his hat, eyes cold. Heard you found something that don't belong to you, Sam. Depends on what you mean by belong, Samuel replied. The stranger spurred forward. Harrison Blackwood, lazy bespread. That girl's stolen property. The child she's carrying is mine. His smile was all teeth and malice. My son got her pregnant before she murdered him and fled. The lie hung heavy. Samuel had seen Elena's injuries, heard her broken whispers. Blackwood's son hadn't gotten her pregnant, he'd raped her. Now, with the boy dead, Blackwood wanted the child as his heir. She's a human being, Samuel said flatly. She's a half-breed, Blackwood spat, producing a warrant. Signed by Judge Hartwell. Wanted for murder and theft. The child's evidence. Deputy Carter shifted uncomfortably. Sam, the warrant's legal. Through the window, Samuel saw Elena's terrified face, hand on her belly. Jesse stood beside her, fists clenched. She's too close to deliverance to travel, Samuel said. Stress could kill her and the baby. Then we'll wait, Blackwood sneered. My men are surrounding your property. Hand her over, or we take her by force. Samuel's finger found the trigger. 3 against 1, with Elena and Jesse to protect. Surrender meant a slow, legal death for her. Then Elena screamed, a primal sound of labor. The baby's comin', Pa. Jesse called. Blackwood's face darkened with satisfaction. Nature's decided for us. Carter, secure the woman. But Samuel was already moving, backing toward the door, rifle steady. You want her, you go through me. Inside, Elena gripped the sheets, sweat-slicked and trembling. Jesse held her hand, steady despite his fear. How close are the pains? Samuel asked, barricading the door. Too close, Elena gasped. Outside, Blackwood shouted, Garrett, you're making this harder. That child's my blood. Your son was a rapist, Samuel yelled back. The only right you have is to hell. Elena's eyes met his. If I die, promise you'll protect the baby. Nothing's happening to you, Samuel said, checking her condition. But that baby's comin' fast. Jesse brought sheets and whiskey, moving with purpose. To distract Elena, Samuel asked about her mother. Apache, Black Canyon people, she panted. Taught me strength. Said a child born in struggle would be a warrior. Jesse spoke softly, my mama died having me. Pa says she was the strongest. Elena squeezed his hand. You carry her strength, like this baby will carry mine. The baby's cry split the air, strong and defiant. A girl, Samuel said, wrapping the tiny child. Perfect. Elena sobbed, reaching for her. Maria, she whispered. Maria Elena. Outside, Blackwood's patience broke. Carter, kick in the door. But Samuel stepped onto the porch, holding Maria. Sheriff, before you execute that warrant, know this, Elena Vasquez is Elena Garrett. We married this morning, by my authority as a territorial magistrate. This child was born in wedlock. If Blackwood wants to prove otherwise, let him try. Blackwood's face purpled. Impossible. The law you hide behind protects my family too, Samuel said. And how does Blackwood know this child's his son's? Was he there? The implication landed hard. Carter's hand moved from his gun. Morrison removed his hat. If she's married, the claims changed. Blackwood, you're done here. Cursing, Blackwood rode off, his men trailing. 3 months later, Samuel and Elena married for real before a preacher, Jesse holding Maria, whispering promises. 5 years on, as Maria took her first steps on the porch, Elena told her about the day family became more than blood. A choice to stand against cruelty. The desert wind carried laughter now, a child's voice proving love was stronger than hate, courage was ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Samuel watched his chosen family, knowing some promises were worth everything.